So here's another funny story, right? So while we on Hard Knock Life tour, you came
Ooh,
out
classic
with Hot,
tour.
which is 400 Degrees album.
Yeah.
We love that album. So I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, I
but
didn't, boy, I was
we hip hop heads.
so curious about New York. Me being a hip hop head, that really meant a lot to me.
In New York.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. I mean, that's why I look at New York as.
I'm not gonna say all New Yorkers. I'm gonna say the camp that I came up with, like Hove and Roc-A-Fella and X and Rough Riders and you know Gotti and me
And that's true, because even back in the day, Big Pimpin' had UGK on it, like a New York artist working with Southern artists. That was kind of rare at the time. And I'm gonna let y'all search up the backstories of how that whole thing came together with Jay-Z and UGK collaboration, and how Pimp C really didn't want to do it at first. But yeah, a couple of New York artists, they were up on Southern artists way before a lot of people.
and all my dudes, we were hip hop heads.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Like straight hip hop heads. Like when
Shit, me too.
wasn't listening to NWA, I was. Listening to UGK, I was. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
when, you know, we kind of got up on y'all and we listened to that 400 Degrees, Jay was listening to Hot. He's like, oh, I got a verse.
What?
He's like, I'm gonna have to reach out to the homie down there and let them know. I'm like, I don't think y'all knew, but he just wanted to jump on it. So how did that come about? Did he just get on it, or did he ever call y'all?
He sent it to us.
I knew it. Because let me tell you, he spit the verse on the bus. He's spitting his verse to you on the bus. Because you know Jay writes in his head.
Yeah.
So he wrote that sometime in between while we just listening to the album and vibing off. He wrote the verse. So maybe 2 days later, we all on the bus. He's like, yo, I got a verse for that hot joint. And he starts spitting the verse. And then maybe a month later, he was on the joint. So I'm like, wow.
And the crazy part was, boy, a lot of people in New Orleans, we ain't heard him on that. The hip hop heads was going crazy.
Yeah.
But the hood, they were like, man, why you did that, man? You selling out. I said, what? I'm like, what is you talking about? I was like, bro, listen. Listen, bro, y'all too NWA'd out. Y'all too. Like, bro, I listen to everything, bro. I listen to Jay-Z, Biggie, Pac, however y'all want to, separate things and split them up. I'm like, bro, they all talented, bro. So I listen to them all. So when Jay-Z jumped on the song, a lot of cats were like, man, you just trying to get New York to be, behind you. He just jumped on the song on his own.
I'll tell you though.
And why not? See, the other part was, I was telling them, you're right, bro. Like, you want to win, if you want to win in the music industry, you have to win both, the East Coast and the West Coast. And the South. So I was telling them, like, man, why I gotta be in a category of, I just want to do good music with the most talented people out here.
See, I love to hear stories like this, stories that you probably wouldn't hear unless you heard it from the horse's mouth. A lot of New York artists were up on things, and it was crazy at that time because New York was the epicenter of everything hip hop. Like, even being from the South, if you were connected to somebody in New York, or even if you knew somebody from New York, bro, you were pretty much stamped as like the official voice of hip hop. Even in the South, that's how it was. When I was in school, anybody that was from New York that was going to our school, they were usually like the people who people look to as to like, oh man, what's going on? Or like, oh man, you from New York? Oh, like what part you from? You from the Bronx? You feel me? Or you from Harlem? You feel me? Like, they always, for some reason, they had like the say on what was hip hop or like what was true. Now, of course, nowadays hip hop is pretty much, of course, it's always been regional, but as far as what coast holds the crown right now, the West Coast doing their thing. The South did it for a while, but for a long time it was New York. And even people like Jay-Z getting on songs with UGK, like Big Pimpin' back in the day, that was a big deal. That was a super big deal. And like I said, I want y'all to look up the story on how that whole thing came together and how Pimp C really wasn't down with it at first. But yeah, man, like New York artists was definitely looking at the South. Even what was the Jay-Z project he had? The Blueprint 2, he had that song Poppin' Tags with Killer Mike and Big Boy. So Jay always reached to the South, whether it was for inspiration or to collab. Jay-Z, Money Ain't a Thing with Jermaine Dupri. You feel me? I actually think that was probably the first time I heard Jay-Z. That probably was just seeing him in a video, like, whoa, who's Jay-Z? I didn't really become a Jay-Z fan until, later in my teen years when I started listening like the Blueprint, and I went back and got his old stuff. But like Jay always been like that. Ja Rule too, Irv, rest in peace, Irv Gotti. You feel me? Like they always reach to the South. Swiss Beats, his beats, like his sound was kind of derived from the South with that like speedy flow with drag on. So like it's always been a love and respect. You know, there's always gonna be people who be like, man, we in the South, man. We don't mess with New York, whatever. I love it all. You feel me? I love it all. West, North, South, East, I don't care. I'm a fan of hip hop, so I'm always gonna champion hip hop. But yeah, man, it's the Kid Ríez. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all be safe, stay carefree, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.